Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Real Report. Stick around. We're going to cover two articles real quick, and then we're going to hop into the Russia-Ukraine stuff for my normal audience tuning in. I think I've finally figured it out. It's the way that I phrase video titles that is costing me views. You know, I have to start doing a little wordplay, and I don't want to say clickbaiting, but just like the TikTok video, think about it. They're not going to promote a video that says TikTok is bad, so I'm going to have to start saying things like Russia, Ukraine is winning, getting the COVID vaccine is good for you, wink, wink, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to try that out for the next couple of weeks and see if it helps out, because I was just watching a video of Vice on, funny enough, Andrew Tate, who I was just talking about the other day. He said the exact same thing. Somebody put out a video trying to promote positivity around him, gets 0 views once they tried to jail him. And then they did the exact same experiment, and there were about 150 videos that came out instantaneously, all with negative things about him, and they instantly were pushed by the algo and became viral. So I'm thinking that it's definitely the case, so I just need to do better on my part with my own copywriting, we'll say. Now we'll do one article and then touch base on the other two. One of them's kind of funny. Well, neither of them are really funny, but you'll see what I mean. Now, Russian soldier gave away his position with geotagged social media posts. Cell phones and combat zones don't mix. Who would have thunk? That's obviously absolutely horrible, idiotic, brain-dead thing to do. I mean, anybody who's been on the internet should know. Anybody who's watched any crime shows or literally anything knows that heck, they can find you using your walkie-talkie. I mean, you've got all the ham radio people that drive around and try and find people who aren't licensed, and you really think your geotagged phone, who they're listening in on the conversation as we speak, aren't able to pinpoint within 3 yards where you're standing? And of course, he posted a picture, and I believe is no longer with us, but just a word of caution, word to the wise: don't do stupid things. And if you're going to do stupid things anywhere in the world, don't have your cell phone either on you. And certainly, please, for God's sake, do not post pictures tagging with Google coordinates exactly where you were standing at the time. And the World Health Organization has given us a wonderful message here. Now, this is just from last night. The anti-vaccine activism is deadlier than global terrorism. That's right, you heard it here first. The World Health Organization shared a video on Twitter promoting a claim that anti-vaxxers and anti-vaccine activism is deadlier than global terrorism, nuclear proliferation, and gun violence. Yes, really. They quoted Baylor College of Medicine's Dr. Peter Hotez, who stated, quote, "We have to recognize that anti-vaccine activism, which I actually call anti-science aggression," where do they come up with these phrases? Anti-science aggression has now become a major killing force globally. And what they're not going to tell you is, well, the hospitals are filling up, but it's not with who you think. Now, Hotez went on to assert that 200,000 Americans died from COVID because they refused to get the vaccine. Well, I believe that's a personal choice. If you believe that your jab protects you, then you should not be afeared of somebody who is not vaccinated. That is 100% their body, their choice. No? Claim that isn't backed up by any source, of course, is the truth here. And now the anti-vaccine activism is expanding across the world, even into low and middle income countries, which I believe places like Haiti have a like 0.6% vaccination rate for their entire population, or 1.6. It's something insanely low. Absolutely crazy. And of course, Africa. Now, my one caveat with the data out of Africa is, I mean, let's just be honest. How many people, do they even know how many they vaccinated? Do they even have the reporting capabilities to keep track of who has it, who got sick, who didn't have it, who got sick out of that pool? You know what I'm saying? And Prince Harry was blasted by the UK military brass for betrayal as he brags that he killed 25 fighters in Afghanistan. Now, it's not the unspoken rule that you don't talk about things like that for the most part, unless it's to the people you served with. I was not in the military, but just from what I've read, and my family who has served. So, point being, they're saying it's a national security threat that he said that. I mean, everybody knows he's in the military. I believe he flew a helicopter. So obviously, I mean, you can connect the dots, and it's saying this will incite some people to attempt an attack on British soldiers anywhere in the world. I mean, there's soldiers in the Middle East. It's kind of par for the course now, so I don't know why they're making a big deal out of this. The impact on his own personal security is even greater. Yeah, it was all public knowledge, though, so it's just kind of goofy. Here's a picture of him. I didn't actually know that's from 2012. And an interesting one, Anas Haqqani said, Mr. Harry, the ones you killed were not chess pieces. They were humans. They had families who were waiting for their return. Among the killers of Afghans, not many have your decency to reveal their conscience and confess to their war crimes. Now, I don't know who this Anas guy is, but kind of interesting nonetheless as we continue. I always try and ignore the royal families, keeping up with the Kardashian headlines, but I don't know, always interested when it has something to do with the Middle East. Soldiers' Widows Group calls on Putin to order major mobilization for the Ukraine war, supposedly. That's right, a little-known patriotic group with supports the widows of Russian soldiers has called Putin to order a large-scale mobilization of millions of men and to close the borders to ensure victory in Ukraine. Now, I say that is an interesting one worth sharing because of the fact there's more troops mobilizing, staging in Belarus above Ukraine, or Kiev, sorry, Ukraine obviously, Kiev, and everybody's thinking that they're going to try to cut the head off the snake and take Kiev, so keep an eye on that. And of course on the Taiwan-China headlines, because those are not going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, I need to make a video on that specifically. Putin sends warship armed with hypersonic missiles to the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. Of course, more provocative measures. The ships armed with hypersonic Zircon cruise missiles are being deployed on a mission to the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, which could be a message and warning aimed at the West against escalating in Ukraine, which of course we're going to continue to do. And U.S. and Germany to send Ukraine armored vehicles and major arms upgrade. Of course, the big ticket items in that are the Bradley fighting vehicles, and Germany is sending the Marder vehicles, if I recall correctly. And that should have a pretty significant impact. And with that, Russia to sail hypersonic missiles into the Atlantic Ocean and clear a front to the United States. That's from January 4th. We're going to plow through these, and then I'm going to hop off here. Medvedev threatens U.S. with hypersonic cruise missiles, likens the U.S. to, guess what, Nazis. And Zelensky says Russia, the new mobilization process for major offensive is imminent. And sorry about these loading in, and now my furnace has just kicked on next to my computer, so I'm sorry if you can hear that background noise. And Russia, we're observing Christmas ceasefire. Ukraine keeps shelling. Now, it's from the 6th and the 7th this morning and last night, Eastern time, which was an interesting one, which obviously was violated. And I really wish these articles would have not loaded in. Now, Blood Label, Kremlin claims organs harvested by Ukraine are ending up in Israel. That's an interesting one. And lawmakers voted to send billions to Ukraine while making a killing on defense contractor stocks. Of course, war is profitable. The elites love it, and that's the entire reason we have the military-industrial complex. And that's the reason that World War II was good for the United States, because it helped us get out of the Great Depression. And on top of that, you can also say that's precisely why Russia has been able to not only stay afloat but thrive, because their war industry is now booming, from ammunition to repair to sourcing materials, mines. The entire war machine is turning. So with that, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Apologies for those couple articles not being preloaded.